I'm gonna start because I was doing research for your arrival today,
Oh, okay.
and the thing I'm gonna make you own is that I feel like when you sing, and not
Okay.
everybody is like this, but you go to like a very you sing with like a lot of power, like
Oh, yeah.
it's like a big
Yeah.
emotional output a
Yeah.
little bit. And I'd be curious because we're so used to seeing you on stage, or we're used to seeing you like on television. What's like the work part of having to sing like that? Do you have to do a lot of
Oh,
honey and lemon, or like,
that is a fantastic
yeah,
question. Someone asked me earlier, they were like, what is it that you do to stay centered during touring? And I was like, it's like 3 hours a day of just vocal prep. So basically, I start off, I have a breathing therapist that like helps me access exactly how to
yeah,
breathe with your diaphragm and things. Opera singers are just amazing at it, but I took opera at LSU, and she said, "Are you going to continue to sing pop music?" And I said, "Of course. Like, this is just how I express myself. I love soul music." She's like, "Then you will never sing opera." I was like, "Okay." So I had to leave. But she taught me a lot about the diaphragm and how to sing from the diaphragm. It's the healthiest way to sing. So I see a breathing therapist. Her name is Erica. She's amazing. So I warm up with her for probably 30 minutes, an hour. Then I have a vocal therapist, like a manual therapist that physically moves my
get
Like
out of here.
massages your
trachea.
vocal cords?
Well, you can't get in there, but she will literally touch my spine through the back of my trachea because all of those muscles get so sore. So it's beyond
Sounds like it
just
hurts. Does that
oh,
hurt?
it's I have this is what's funny. She told me the other day and I was like, I'll take it. But she said the real singers love it. The ones who just kind of like petty sing, they hate it. And she was like, because she laughs at me because I'll fall asleep in the middle of it.
Oh, you
She's like,
find it
"This is so
relaxing?
relaxing." And she's like, that's how you know if somebody loves to sing or not because they're willing to like turn this into something therapeutic because it's so painful. But I feel like I fall asleep on the table. And then the last thing is I warm up with my vocal coach every single day. And she's over at Vanderbilt and she's incredible.
So not just on days where you got to sing. You do it
No.
all the time.
I do it all the
Wow.
time. I
Wow.
mean, there are days like today I didn't warm up with her. Tomorrow I probably will. Like it doesn't matter if I'm talking or singing. I gotta get with her.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's more components than just
So we're really excited about your new music.
yeah.
And
Yay.
I've wondered when it comes to music of a specific genre, especially like Christian music, worship
Mhm.
music, and some of the songs that you sing. When you go in to record a song, do you feel pressure might be the wrong word, but do you feel a lot like you got to go to a certain emotional
Mm.
place? Is there like a routine you do before when you've got to kind of
Mm.
capture a certain kind of energy? I just feel like that's very specific to the kind of songs that you sing.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing that I do is always think about the person I'm singing to or for. So, which that's not only just an audience. Sometimes it's like, oh, I need this song, you know. And then other times it's, oh, I remember I met this person at the grocery store and I wish I could tell them this, you know. So I really think about the people who I'm singing to. And then I think about how phonetically can I create emotion. And after a while, it honestly just becomes natural, right? You kind of tap into this thing of I am here to deliver a story. Here to deliver a message. And how do I communicate that in the most authentic way? Because I do think the more you hyper focus on it, it becomes inauthentic after a while, right?
Yeah.
So
Manufactured.
it's just manufactured.
Yeah.
So I don't really go in with a headspace of, okay, I'm gonna make sure that this is here or that's there. If something naturally happens, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try to do that again next time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I really do. It's really primarily less in the recording room as much as it is in the writing room.
Oh, right.
So when you go to write the song, that I found out in the process of making this record that a lot of the demos had vocals that I was like, oh wow, I was really feeling. Same with Rescue. Like Rescue is the demo vocal. That we didn't redo that because in the writing room was where all the emotion fell out. And then you go to cut this vocal that's just temporary, and then it has everything you need because you were in the space. You were pouring out the emotion on paper, and then it naturally was a byproduct of pouring it out with your voice. So I would say the writing room is really, really specific. It's also why I like writing with my producer, because he can be like, jump in the booth, you know, or hey, we're going to track this. There's some moments where we were writing together and I was just holding like a, what is it, an SM8? Would it be like the one with the big?
Oh, right.
Or is it
Yeah.
SM7?
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I was holding the microphone and and I said, can we go back and just keep that vocal, because that felt so alive. Like it just, yeah, I feel like the writing room is really important.
That's great. I think anybody watching this or listening to this who's like creative would find that like a really fulfilling answer. Like I know sometimes when we have to talk about emotional stuff, I like pull up a picture of my children if you're trying to get to a certain spot or anything like that. That's so good though. That gives you a new appreciation for when you're listening to some of those songs.
Yeah.
Well, you may have answered even what I'm about to ask you, but is there any songs that still grip you, like when you're in the middle of singing it and you're like you performance mode, but it also grips you, like,
oh yeah,
you've sang it 2,000 times
all the time,
but it still gets you? What's a song that does that?
The other day, what was I singing? I was singing a song that is coming out on the record. I think that's the one we chose for this. It was for a Q&A, and there was this family sitting there. I had never met them, didn't know their story. And this mother just started weeping, and she was next to a child that was sick. You could see that there was, you know, things going on. And she just was weeping in the middle of the song. And I remember thinking, if I do not swallow this lump, it's going to go from 0 to 100. Because I don't really just like teary eye cry. I can like do that in conversation, but when I'm singing, if I'm gonna cry, it's gonna be a freaking whale. I'm gonna just bawl my eyes out, right? It kind of goes from 0. So I really had to push it down and keep going through with the song. And it was at the very end of the song, so I was like, this would be so interesting to just start weeping when it's all said and done, right? But no, I really do find myself in those moments where, even though that was a new song, but there's been times where I've sang Rescue and you just catch someone's eye right in the right moment, or you see a tear fall from someone right in the right moment, and it just changes your entire interaction with that song in that particular time. So yeah,
you are so good at feeling, like even just standing here across from you. I think it's something that's been beautiful about watching your career is that you are so authentic that it's like, you better capture it in that moment, like CJ was just talking about too, because of duplication of it. You can't duplicate an exact moment. You can feel things again, but you can't duplicate a moment. So when you do that, like going into a music video, for example, for Rescue, did you do that in Alaska?
Yes, it was
like
it was freezing cold.
And
I didn't know. This is the biggest joke. Okay, so in Alaska, there's a massive difference between when you're standing on a block of ice and when you're standing on land. Like, hello, newsflash. Duh, but I'm from Louisiana, so I didn't know. I just thought, oh yeah, if Anchorage, Alaska says that it's 62, well, when we fly around to the glacier, it's going to be 62. No. Had no idea. So I'm in a sleeveless dress, and it is like 20 something degrees outside. I mean, it was brutally
Anything
cold.
for art.
Anything for art.
And you're supposed to act like you're not freezing.
Yeah, there is one point where my eyelashes were crusted together because the tears actually froze. Like there was so much wind, and my eyes were just, tears were just flowing because of how much the wind was. Not emotional tears, like my eyes were just watering.
Just
like
pure
eye
pain.
doctor tears.
Yeah, like eye drops, but from the wind. And so my eyes crusted, like the eyelashes crusted in place, and I was like, is that in the shot? Like, and there's like one moment, it's on one of the close up shots, and I think I was in either the black dress or the orange dress, but you could see my eyelashes are crusted together.
You got to screenshot that.
No,
Just
now
kind
we're
of go
gonna go
all
watch
the
it.
way in so you can see. 'Cause I love the idea that people are watching that and they're like, oh, look at her. She's just so in it. She's like, no, girl, it's cold. It's cold up here in Alaska on a glacier.
It was
trying to sing.
I went to the guy, so we had a helicopter in for each location. So we'd land, and I looked at the guy. It was insane.
So cool.
It was insane. And I looked at the guide, and I said, I just need to know. There was a glacier guide that came with us, Guide, guide. I need to say the D, not glacier guy, but he was a glacier guy too. But I said, hey, he came with us to make sure we wouldn't fall through the glacier because there were like points that
like fractures in the
that you wouldn't even see. Like it looks just like the glacier, but he had a way of knowing, oh, actually that's like a 20-foot hole versus just because it's kind of
scary.
It's kind of an important role.
Crazy. It's so beautiful though. It's worth it. It was like stunning. Anyway, so we're there and he I said, I just need to know at what point of Frozen is like, are my feet gonna actually rot? Like I just need to know, like, because they are frozen. I have no feeling left in them, and it's getting to a point of like legitimate pain. But tell me, at what point is it like, hey, we've gone past the point of return, and we might not have toes left at the end of this?
I think I heard when your limbs or whatever's cold start to get warm again, but naturally shouldn't be. That's the part where you're like, we need to eject out of here.
That's good to know for your next video.
Good, because I was still in the midst of pain. The pain didn't leave, so we were fine.
So you just touched on even your outfits for that, which you have to know you are like a fashion genre all your own.
Oh.
I overthought my outfit for this day so much because you just bring it. And there's times even like I'll tell a friend, Lori from Caleb, and I will talk and I'm like, you are Lauren Daigle approved today.
Oh.
Like, oh, that outfit. Or anybody. I feel like people who don't even know like what world I'm in, I'll be like, oh, Lauren Daigle would like your outfit. And they're like, oh, I love her songs. I'm like, How would you describe your own fashion?
Oh my gosh. I would say it's very whimsical and it's fly by the seat of my pants. Like there's like today, perfect example. I'm leaving my our Airbnb and my friend was with me and I said, hey, I had this Air1 thing at 2:00 or whatever. She said, okay, sounds good. And I said, what's in my suitcase? Like she was like, just go in the suitcase and find what you like. So she carries this suitcase around that has an assortment of different jeans, different tops, whatever. And then every day I just go and put it together. Like, what's going to be fun for right now? What's going to be fun? Like this morning when I picked out this outfit, there were different pants with it. But then when I got here, I was like, actually, I'm going to do the checkerboard. Like, I just kind of throw it together as I go.
Smart.
So it's not
perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. It is way less of a routine than people would know. Like, I know people who have, I mean, it is like a closet Rolodex. Everything is detailed, planned. You know what you're wearing, that is not me. I'm very much
not a lot of strategy. More instinct than anything.
All instinct.
Butterflies. Let's go.
Because you are a genre. All yourself. I'm like, you're anthropology before anthropology was anthropology.
Oh, come on. I love anthropology.
So you're just beautiful and wonderful. I love it.
We as broadcasters, we have to go back and we have to comb through like the bits we do and the things that we talk about. And sometimes when we have to listen to audio from like a week ago or months ago or even last year, we're just like, oof, like I thought that was funny or I thought that was right, but no.
Oh gosh.
Are you ever like driving down the road and a Lauren Daigle song like comes on and you're like, oh, I thought that was good? Because we all think your songs are amazing, but you're like, I thought that was good, but I just do it differently anything like that ever happened to you?
This is what always happens to me. Always. And it's so annoying. It's the freaking liners. It's the liners. I literally will get it back and I'll be like, or I'll say, it's the liners. I get it back and I am like, oh my gosh, I don't even talk like that. Why would I have talked like that for that line? Why would I have said that way? I don't even talk like this.
This is not me.
This is not me. And I'll hear my voice back and think, oh, that is someone who is trying to sound like a rodeo person. Like, no, it's always the liners.
Some of that stuff too is that mechanic in your brain where it's like, even you ever hear like your voice on a commercial or something and just like, oof, like, you know,
what was I doing?
It's different when you're speaking it real time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? I should have had water before I did that.
Oh,
yes.
This is always the classic, right? Hey, this is Lauren Daigle and you're listening to Air1. I don't talk like this all the time.
It's like Minnie Mouse.
That was great, though. You're hired.
I mean, it's like, literally, hey, this is Lauren Daigle. I do it every time. Hey, this is Lauren Daigle. And then I start to change it because it gets so annoying that I'm like, hey, this is Lauren Daigle. Hey, it's Lauren Daigle. Hey, why do I always go up? Constant. And then that's the ones that I hear back. And I'm like,
if you want, I can pull what you just said and play it back.
Go
for you.
for it.
No.
It's both the blessing and the curse of being able to record things.
Yes, I know.
Because then you're like, once I hear it, I can redo it for 22 times, and I'm not gonna like a single one of them.
Yes. Yeah.
Not a single one.
I'm glad you brought up Louisiana. I think it's really fascinating you grew up in Louisiana. I actually love Louisiana. I feel like what do they say about Louisiana? It's one of those, it's one of the only states where certain parts you can be in it and you feel like you're not America a little bit. Could you
Very
speak?
Europeans.
Yeah, could you speak to a little bit of like who you are, as an artist, as a person, when you know, think about Louisiana, how it sort of shaped you, the culture, and I'd be curious if there's a certain food or something like that, because when you're back home, or if you're really craving a taste of home, if there's something that you always go for.
Okay, I love Louisiana. I could talk about Louisiana every single second. I love it so much. Grew up there, born and raised, and the thing about Louisiana is it's very much of a melting pot culture, even though you wouldn't necessarily know that from the outset, right? We are known as swamp people, but there's a lot more. Have you seen the show Swamp People?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that was going to go over like a lead balloon if you had it. But that show, this is kind of my like cultural awakening, if you will. I remember I was 16 years old and I was watching Troy on the show talk English that I always grew up hearing. I thought that's how, I just didn't know people couldn't understand that. So I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, why do they have subtitles on English? Like, what? I don't understand. Like, this is very, you can understand what he's saying. He's speaking in English. This is an English speaking dominant country. Like, why do they have subtitles? That was the first time I realized, oh my gosh, I live in a subculture. Like,
people don't understand what he's saying.
No one knows what he's saying, and I can understand every single word perfectly clear. Like, I know exactly. That was the first like realization of, okay, there is something really different here. And the more and more, my grandfather grew up only speaking French. He started speaking English when he got to elementary school because he got in trouble for speaking French all the time. They didn't want that French immersion to come into. We're the only state that is still run by Napoleonic Code versus the British Code, which all the rest of the United States is run by. Yeah. So, there's a lot of culture and a lot of history there. But all the music, I mean, golly, the music is just powerful. You've got Zydeco, you've got jazz. New Orleans is like the birthplace of jazz. It's just really profound how much musical influence was given to me through growing up in that state. Also, my friends, like, I didn't know this, but I grew up in kind of a little hippie community, but I didn't realize it at the time. I just thought, oh, this is kind of what life looks like, But Lafayette, where I grew up, there's always some music festival, some way to engage. You celebrate tomatoes, you celebrate crawfish. You have a tomato festival, a crawfish festival.
That's the thing. It's always a party for anything, anytime.
Always.
Crawfish boils. Yes. All the good stuff.
There's a celebration around every corner. One time we were driving back from an LSU game. I went to LSU and I was visiting though. It was after How Can It Be had come out. And I took my manager with me and I was like, come on. And we were driving back across the across the Atchafalaya Bridge. Now, here's the thing about the bridges in Louisiana is they're so long because of how much water. So the Pontchartrain Bridge is like, I think it's 21 miles long, that one bridge. Like, you cannot get off of it. It's
over all water?
All water.
Wow.
It's the longest bridge in the world until a couple years ago when China built one. So we like have very long bridges. So I say that point to say we're on this long bridge and a wreck happens or something happened. And instead of it being like we had to sit in our car for 3 hours on a bridge on top of water, there was a party bus in front of us because we were all coming back from LSU and they opened the doors. People start bringing out food and we line danced on the bridge till 2 o'clock in the morning while we just sat there and waited.
For hours.
Hours and hours. We're all talking. Everybody has their cars turned off, but the lights on. And you're just like, everybody starts line dancing and cutting up.
That is uniquely awesome. What a great story.
That is such a Lauren Daigle story.
Yeah.
It's just a whole world of its own. And so that kind of perspective, it influenced me in ways way beyond. We always talk to people. You look people in the eye. You have conversations with people. It's old school in that regard, but then you also have these beautiful musical elements that, shaped who I am.
What about the food? Is there a specific food?
The food. How can I forget the food? The food is everything. So I grew up, my mom and dad were in the kitchen all the time. My grandparents in the kitchen all the time. Like the other day I went home and my dad left lunch at 3 o'clock and said, okay, girl, I love you. Got to go start working on dinner. I'm going to make you a meal. It starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, preparing the meal that we're going to eat one time at 6:30, and it's it's just beautiful to see the love that is poured into cuisine and just sharing these moments and memories with people. It's so powerful. You asked me what was like the craving thing that I go home and I gotta
find me, or as soon as you get home.
Shrimp.
Boiled shrimp.
Boiled shrimp. And this is why. Okay, so there's a lot that I could get, but there's this, you said the word crave. Yeah. And I don't know what it is about boiled shrimp. I don't know if it's the iodine that my body's like, I need it. But it's the seasoning, it's the flavor. You can taste the water. Like, I don't know.
I don't think I've ever had boiled shrimp then. Like, I've had cocktail shrimp, you know.
Yeah, no.
I feel like that's probably
that's steamed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Girl, I got you.
Boiled shrimp
got you.
Sometime.
Boiled is like, obviously they boil a big pot of water and they pour just tons and tons and tons of seasoning into it. And then you can, like a low country boil, they say that's something.
Yeah. You can do that. A lot of mud bugs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, crawfish, jambalaya. It's like,
okay.
It's like a little lobster, but it comes from the mud water that's a little dirty.
Very dirty.
Listen, you're amazing. You're lovely. It's the first time I've meeting you, but you can feel the Louisiana pouring out. The eye contact, especially, they do that everywhere you go in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. But we're certainly wearing you as a badge of honor in the Christian broadcasting field. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, Thank you so much.
Do it.
Just because I feel like we've kind of grown up together in some ways, and like all your songs have been appropriate for where I was in life. And same thing with Thank God I Do, because I need that as a new mom. I'll listen to it too, and I realized how judgmental I had been of other people in different ways. And it's like, but thank God I do have you, or else I would be just as a hot mess as that person, or how I perceive that person. So I have heard you so many places throughout the years, like trying on clothes in a random shop. Like when we bought a car recently for getting ready for parenthood, we were playing over CarMax speakers.
Wow.
My question is the most surprising place you have heard one of your own songs.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, that's a great question. I know the answer to this. And then Uber, or I was in a Lyft and I was in the back seat and the guy, I think he was listening to the radio. I don't think he was listening to like a shuffle mix or something. And it came on and I was sitting there like, oh. So I was like, he doesn't know that this is me, so I'm going to just play with it a little bit. So I said, what do you think of this girl? Have you ever heard her voice before? Have you ever heard this song before? And I started asking him all these questions, like, tell me what you really think about her, just as a joke. And I never told him that it was me in the backseat. No, I just let him talk about it. He was like, yeah, I listened to her. I like her. Like, he was like really nonchalant about it.
I'm so glad he was so nice.
I kind of wanted it to be like, I can't stand her. I have to change it all the time. Because how much greater of a story would that have been if I was like getting ripped apart by this Uber driver and he had no idea. Anyway, that was one of my favorite little surprises. I just was sitting with a friend and my hand just went across the seat and I grabbed her hand. I was like, this is hysterical.
Yeah, if he was like, this is terrible, this is garbage, you'd have been like, well, that's me. How dare, no, I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
for
you.
being here. And we appreciate you and keep on doing the good work, okay?
Thank you. Thanks so much.